Javier will be questionable, and Victor questionable too. Victor had a minor issue that was kind of IT band-ish. I don't know if it was IT band or somewhere hamstring IT band, very, very minor. So it's going to be, he's kind of day to day. We'll see how he responds tomorrow. We'll give him a little bit to do tomorrow and see how he feels and how he's responding on that. Javier, same thing. It's just it's a return to play and how much he's progressing. It's, he's probably a little more doubtful, I would say, just because again, it's about how much we can accomplish on the field as we move forward. Everybody else is good. The guys are returning today, so we'll kind of take inventory on them, between today and tomorrow. And see what kind of role that they can play going into Wednesday. So we'll try to be smart. The guys have, Ephra aside, the other two have played a lot of minutes over the course of this stretch, and so we're trying to get whole, and we'll probably, hopefully they can play some role. Just don't know how much yet. We'll figure that out.
With Chicharito, like you said, it's just a return to play. It's nothing more serious, or there hasn't been any setbacks on anything. It's just sort of the initial injury still healing.
Yeah, we had a follow-up, again, as we took some steps forward with him. We had a follow-up. We started to see what they would say a little bit of an edema coming back into the area as he started to go. So we shut him down for a couple more days, and then he'll start that process again, which he's undergoing. So there was, I guess you would call that a setback. There was a pause in the kind of the return to action, if you will. So we're kind of recalibrating now and moving forward. But he's starting to do some of that work again that he was doing before. We'll just have to see if we can keep pressing on.
Thanks, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Josh. We'll go with Nikki K next. Nikki, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. From last time you guys faced Real Salt Lake to now, how has this team grown? What would you like to see a continuation of when you guys take the pitch on Wednesday?
Yeah, the first time we played them there, we got off to a really poor start in terms of we made a couple few mistakes, and got punished for them early on. And so our start has to be better. The other night, our start was not great at all. So, a few things within that we've got to get better. Staying more connected as a group. I thought, again, we were disjointed at the start of the game and exposing ourselves in a lot of ways that were unnecessary. We're starting to step out and press at bad times, and sometimes we just need to stay together as a group because we're not cohesive in our step outs, and we're just giving away spaces in between us. Our back line at times was high and unprepared for the ball that was coming over the top of them. Little things like they're things like that. They're not little. They're things like that where we were disjointed. Once the game progressed and we got a little more connected and our lines were tighter, and then I felt like we were very much in control of things on the defensive side. And also we were in better places when we won the ball to be able to transition out, and we were then going from defending to attacking in a much more efficient and successful way. At the beginning we were struggling to win the ball, and we were struggling to transition because, again, we're disjointed in our positioning and movement. So that's what I want to see from this group. Again, just better connections. Again, as we go through this stretch where guys they're in, they're out, they're at different fitness levels because guys are coming back and different things. We all need to start to get on the same page a little bit clearer right now as we continue to move forward. And I saw that over the course of the game, but we certainly didn't start there at the beginning of the game. And we've got to be able to put that together for 90 minutes to have a good, solid performance.
Wonderful. And one more here. Julian named to MLS Team of the Week. I know you've spoken about his caliber of play and the attention he's getting, not just from home but abroad as well. What can you say especially about what he did on Friday night and the strides he's been making this season?
Yeah, again, I think, Jules, his physical capacity is through the roof. His capacity to get up and down the line, to attack, to defend. His recovery speed is amazing. Those are all things that are evident, and they're easy to see because they're on display all the time. This game he did a better job in the final action of getting deeper, getting to the end line, getting closer to to the end line in his crossing situations, which gave him better options when he got to the crosses, which I liked. That's an addition. Sometimes, he'll look to, I think, to cross too early, which doesn't give him a great target, and it doesn't give us a great opportunity to get unmarked or to give him good targets in the box. He played for the extra 5, 10, 15 yards in this game, which I thought was outstanding, and why he came away with 2 assists. As I said with Jules and his learning curve, it's attention to detail through all of the moments in the game, positionally, resting in good spots, being in areas where he's connected to the group, things like that, where we're continuing to build. When he gets those things, then the sky's the limit for him. But I think right now, those are it's attention to detail on little things that seem little, but actually become big over the course of 90 minutes that, as he continues to grow, which is that our area of opportunity with him, then he's going to be outstanding.
Thank you, Nikki. We'll go with Andy Diosa with Yahoo. Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Greg, how's it going?
All right, thanks.
Greg, obviously through injuries and obviously international break and whatnot, you guys haven't been able to be at 100, I want to say maybe this whole season. What have you learned perhaps, or what have you seen from the team in this stretch that you've had these guys out in the international break and the stretch of games that obviously Javier has been out and the goals have been lacking, but besides that, what have you learned from the resiliency of this team through the stretch?
Yeah, the group is, what we've said all year. There's real character in the group, a willingness to work, a willingness to compete. Their willingness to learn, even in the games when we try to adapt and we try to give them corrections. Say at halftime of last game, they took them on quickly. They applied them into the game. So a lot of those things are there. We're seeing players who are starting to learn the league a little bit better, starting to adapt to the league, which is a whole nother thing, which is the individual inside the collective group that we're learning about still, and as well as trying to connect the group. You're getting guys like Derek, who had such a long suspension. Now he's kind of going through that final phase of preseason where he's getting his legs under him, his match fitness, his sharpness. You're getting Sega now coming back. He's going to go through a little bit of that to get. So it's the resiliency of the group, right? Their willingness to again, find ways to get results more times than not. It's their ability to adjust and adapt in games as we see the game kind of playing out. We've done a pretty good job of as a group of adapting within it, not necessarily on the fly and not necessarily fast enough, but I think those are, again, learning curves and things for us. We've adapted through a lot of different circumstances, but still managed to be somewhere near the top of the league. That's pretty impressive. As I said to these guys, we've not scratched even the surface of what we're going to be capable of doing, but we've got to get out of the mindset of being good enough and get to the mindset of being great, being the best possible version of what we're capable of doing, which is a whole nother step that we still have to take as a group, and that's attention to detail, and that's better connections, and that's sharper movements and quicker passing, and it's better defending, reading moments sooner. It's all of these things that now, as a collective unit, as we can start to get whole and stabilize, that we can get better at. And for me, there's just such a huge area of growth there for us in this group as we work through this second half of the season, and that's exciting for this group. Really exciting.
Thank you, Andy. We have one more from Larry Morgan. Larry, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. Excuse
There.
me. Thanks for taking our questions as always.
No problem.
This is sort of a follow-up to that question. When you take into account all the injuries, especially on the back line, absences for suspensions, maybe players lost to international duties, how would you assess the overall progress of this team? Is it about where you thought it would be when you take into account all those other factors, or maybe a little bit behind, or just about where you thought it might be?
Well, I think we are ahead of where I thought we were going to be in terms of standings and points and things like that. Our guys, we did some goal setting at the beginning of the year, and I'll tell you, we're 3 points away with one game from the point total that they wanted to have at the middle of the season. And when they set that, I was like, that's ambitious, right? This is a group that's still coming together. And at the time, I didn't even know the name of some of the players that were going to be here. And so I'll tell you that, like I said, if they're 3 points away from matching the goal that they wanted to have at mid-season. So I'm pleased with it. In terms of where are we, collectively, I still, as I said before, I think we're still scratching the surface of what our performance level can be and what our overall level as a group can be, and our depth, and how we can work through the game with bringing more guys on as we again get whole. We're going to be starting to bring guys on off the bench who are for sure starters, capable of being starters, and so. I'm excited. I think, again, we've done some grinding through the first half of the season for sure. The character of this group has really has shown through. The next half of the season needs to be a little bit more about, again, the quality and the connection of our performances for 90 minutes instead of little stretches. It's going to be about that side of things. We've tried to stay focused on the performance and not just the results in the beginning, but I think we have a real opportunity and a real exciting, I think, level that we can get to if we can keep moving forward here over the next half of the season, if you will.